And bang, we are live.
Bang, I love to hear that we're live. And you know what else is live? Doge.
That's right, John. That's why I started us off today with the dog on the rocket, because I mean you can't miss this guy today.
Oh my God. You guys, I thought it was extraordinary when it went to 13 cents. And then when I saw it at 31 cents, I was like, oh, this is just too good to be true. And then CJ says, no, Doc, you missed it. Like 10 minutes ago, it was 45. I do have an order in right now to sell some more at 42, CJ. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. It's incredible. Obviously, none of us know why. It's just a nice ride. That Doge is on the rocket.
Yeah, John, I've been seeing a lot of people speculating on Twitter that sort of, the same people are responsible for this pump are the same people that were pumping, GME and AMC, those retail traders that love to take it to the big guy. And, I think that's why we're seeing such a parabolic move for Doge.
It's incredible. Guys, I don't know if you saw this one, but yesterday, Larry Fink, who's probably God knows how many zeros, he's probably a 3 comma club guy, right? Larry Fink, billionaire, CEO of BlackRock. Yesterday, he was talking about how he is incredibly bullish on the stock market. That was one, this is at CNBC. He was fretting over New York because he fears that people will leave because of increased taxes and lack of as many fun places to go. And he said they are exploring Bitcoin in particular because their clients demand it over at BlackRock.
Yeah,
I mean, that's $8 trillion. Now, we all know, they're never going to switch $8 trillion into anything. But if they started making it available to clients like Goldman has, like Morgan Stanley has, then who knows where this thing goes. There's another reason for your super cycle, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, John. I completely agree with you that that demographic of traders, the wealthy family office investors are sort of the missing piece of this investment puzzle. And I do think they are, they could provide that capital to drive us up to 100K plus levels. But one thing I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on, because this was pretty big news this morning. I saw a lot of people asking about it in our chat on Twitter, and that is the news coming out of Turkey. So I'm going to quickly pull up this article here. And yeah, so news came out that Bitcoin payments are going to be banned in Turkey following a massive drop in confidence for the Turkish lira. So, we saw India do something similar, but now Turkey followed suit, and we saw some assets sell off this morning as a result. But I just wanted to kind of get your guys' thoughts on, how this might affect the interim price, or if you think that this is something that can stick. CJ, love to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, well, China and India have done the same thing, and it hasn't worked out too well for them. I think it does a disservice to the citizens who want to be able to hedge against their native currency, and it's because the lira is it's getting weak. It's not as strong, and it seems that their citizens may want to opt out for Bitcoin, or at least put their wealth in some type of neutral store of value that is not connected to any one governmental party. It hasn't really worked out in the past. Like I said, with India and China, it hasn't had any long-term repercussions on the cryptocurrency market, except for, say, the negative sentiment we're getting today, and maybe this interim sell-off. But I don't see it as a long-term viable option for Turkey.
No, they had to massively increase interest rates just to try to stem the bleeding over in Turkey. And, I think they've gone through, guys, now something like 3, the equivalent of their central bank head, like our Jay Powell. They've gone through 3 of them in 3 years because they know that they have to do something. And Erdogan, the guy leading Turkey doesn't want them doing what they say has to be done. And so the Turkish lira has just bled. Right now it's one Turkish lira is about 12 cents, I think, in the US. And it used to be let's see, in 2016, it was 35 cents. So they've lost a ton of purchasing power. I've seen this when this happened in Mexico, guys, because I used to fly back and forth to Mexico for banks and mainly for high net worth clients. And I didn't bring back bags of anything weird, but I did set up a lot of banking relationships so that they could wire their funds up to banks in Houston and Miami because they didn't want to leave it in Mexico. Because, of course, all of a sudden you devalue your currency. Either the market devalues your currency because it's a voting mechanism, or the country says, okay, we're going to take it from 3-to-1 to the US dollar to 7-to-1 to the US dollar, that kind of thing. And it's like, holy shit, you lose your buying power. All of a sudden, that flat screen TV that you had planned on buying is, twice as expensive and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'm not surprised that they banned Bitcoin over there. We all know that there's no way to really stop it. I think here in the US, one of the people she's not a member of the Fed, but I think she consults to the Fed. And she said, you can't really stop it. The only way to stop it is to shut down the internet. Because people will get on a VPN and trade it, as I do, and I suspect as many other people do. And VPNs are ubiquitous these days. I mean, you can get on a VPN for $2 or $3 a month, maybe less if you don't care as much about security. But that VPN masks where you are in the world. And that's what everybody does in China or in Korea, in India, I'm sure, and I'm sure in Turkey now as well. And, banning it in that way without shutting the internet down isn't going to stop it.
Yeah, I agree, John. And that seems to be the consensus of many Bitcoin holders, even within Turkey as well. So I hope that's the case. CJ, you shared with me this morning. I want to get to Bitcoin because, that is kind of the leader here, and that's what what a lot of people are looking to talk about. So CJ, you shared with me a really interesting chart this morning for Bitcoin and kind of the trend that's been going on. You want to tell everyone what you're seeing with this chart right here?
Yes, and this is just the straight up Bitcoin chart. Okay.
Yep.
Bitcoin is still trending, but like I said, sold off a little bit this morning on the news of the Turkish lira, as well as Turkey banning Bitcoin. But we're still kind of hanging on to that SMA on the daily chart and are still in this uptrend for the most part. The way that a lot of traders have played this market is that they've just bought up these dips pretty relentlessly. The thing that I wanted to highlight here, because we've seen a lot of questions and just concerns about, what would alter this bull market cycle, or what would change your mind from being bullish? Well, what I would have to do, or when I would have to reevaluate Bitcoin, is if we saw a drop or a firm close below that 50 EMA, that exponential moving average. This level lines with a lot of indicators like the Keltner channels, like the Bollinger Bands. I think a lot of technical traders are monitoring this level, which currently lines up at about 55K. That level is held strong. We have some more whale map data that I think Monty will get to in just a moment. But unless that level does not hold, I still have a lot of confidence in the overall macro trend for Bitcoin.
Yeah, CJ, I'm right there with you. And let's not wait. Let's jump right into the whale maps because I do agree with you. This is, one thing that I always look to when I'm determining where we might find support and where we might, get a bounce in price. So tell me what you're seeing with this whale maps chart.
Yeah, well, it highlights the ascending triangle that we've broken out of pretty clearly. We're now back testing that resistance that we broke above. Hopefully, in theory, now that becomes support and we continue that bullish thesis. But as you can see, where those bubbles and where those like green pockets of buyers are coming in, is very close to the apex of the actual ascending triangle. So that leads me to believe that that 60K level or 59K level is very strong because we had a lot of buyers really step in at that breakout level.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, CJ. And we've talked a lot about how, we think that the second half of this month of April can be a very bullish month. Do you still think that's possible despite the, sell off we're seeing today? Do you still think we can run up to possibly 75K by the end of the month?
Well, the clock's ticking, right? But the moves in Bitcoin can be explosive. If we've learned anything about the cryptocurrency industry, it may not happen by the end of April. It doesn't have to happen in any particular time frame, but the bullish continuation is still underway.
Yeah, agreed. And if it does make that move, like we always say, I think a lot of the alts are going to be huge benefactors of that. We've seen retail speculation, flooding in, most of it in Doge, but maybe that will spread around a little bit this weekend. So without further ado, you guys want to hop and do our Doges of the day because I think it's going to be an exciting weekend.
My Doge of the day is zero coin, because for the most part, guys, I'm taking off everything but Ethereum and Bitcoin. I might be wrong, but to CJ and Matt's point, if indeed if the biggest of all doesn't just drop $1,000, but pulls back from the 64 or 5 that it was at, and now 62 and 61. If we don't hold there, I agree with these guys and with the whale maps that we're likely to get down to about that level. I don't see any altcoins holding up against that if that happens. That's an if, not a saying I have this sight that I know it's going to happen. I don't. And quite frankly, this goes back, Monty, to what I was saying yesterday, which was whenever anybody asks me about Bitcoin, I never tell them to buy it on the day when it hits those new highs, 64K or any of the new highs that we've hit this year. But I do tell them to buy it on dips, and I will be buying Bitcoin on that dip if it dips. It's down $3,000 from the 24-hour, 48-hour high that it hit, but I'm more thinking about if it breaks through 61, then 58 and 55 are in the cards. And that'll mean that most of my altcoins will be swooning right along with it, I think. Doesn't have to be. It's not written in stone, but you guys have traded it longer than I have. That seems to be the pattern that happens. So like you said, Monty, this weekend will be interesting. And does it hold? Does the biggest crypto of all hold? Or does it, do people have enough of an excuse after Coinbase IPO or direct listing to maybe they're just not as aggressive with their buys, because there are sellers every day and there are buyers every day. And if the buyers step back and say, I'm going to step back, then, generally speaking, we trend lower for at least a little bit.
Yeah, that does tend to seem to be the case. CJ, you have a pretty interesting Doge of the day. We talked a lot yesterday about, the boom in DeFi. So you want to walk us through what you're looking at today?
Yeah, absolutely. And following up on the point about Bitcoin and alts, I think Bitcoin really needs to lead the way. I don't think the alts are going to be able to have the independence to thrive if Bitcoin is going down this weekend. However, I do think that a lot of the international buyers and international traders, I don't know if they were very involved or how involved they were in the Coinbase listing. And so that leads me to believe that they're still willing to speculate on Bitcoin and altcoins this weekend and possibly have a bullish setup. We've seen DeFi absolutely killing it this week. And one of the assets that's been a part of that is Aave. So what I have highlighted on Aave is a very nice technical setup. I love the fundamentals of this project as well, by the way. But on the 1 hour here, you can see that we hit a TD by 9 on the sequential indicator just a few hours ago. That typically is a trigger that we're getting close to an interim bottom. We're still below the smooth moving average, that SMA orange line. So I always like to wait for price to just get above there with a firm close before a potential entry. This is a very short-term time frame. We've seen a lot of volume come into this one. Its relative trading volume is up over 100%. That's always one that I like to check the box with. And then also, if you look below, you can see the stochastic has been in oversold territory, just starting to flip over into positive territory. So we might get some buy pressure coming in as a result off of that. But Ave's the one I'm going to be watching. I mentioned it earlier in the week as one of my picks, but I like it that much that I'll pick it again.
Very nice, Ave. Okay. My Doge of the day today is Monero XMR. Full disclosure, this is one that I've held for a very long time, since maybe 2017. But I love the fundamentals of Monero, and the reason I chose this today is because I think it's timely with the news coming out of Turkey and the banning of Bitcoin payments. Monero, at its heart, it's a privacy coin. It is the most private coin you can exchange out there. So, I think that people realizing that there are governments that are going to crack down on crypto, they may start looking towards more private coins that they can truly protect from the government. And I think Monero is um, in a very good position to be that coin. Further, it's got the longevity. It's been around forever. It's a darling of the space. People who value that original ethos of crypto, privacy above all, decentralization above all. Monero checks all those boxes. So I think it's gonna, as there's more news about Bitcoin coming forward, more governments. I think Turkey won't be the last. I think we'll see some others try to do that as well. And I think privacy coins have great utility. Governments don't like them, but consumers do, and I think that's what's ultimately important. So, XMR is my Doge of the day today. I think it's going to continue to build, and throughout this market cycle, I think it's going to be a very strong performer. So that is my Doge of the day.
Beautiful. Well, keep in mind, folks, that whether you're just hodling or whether you're trading actively, the sponsor of our show, Voyager, is a great place to do both. In fact, if you hodl on the Voyager platform, they will pay you up to 8.5% APY for coins like the USD, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so forth. That's why we have pushed aggressively, saying people don't understand the Coinbase story because it's not just a broker. It's a place where the stuff where it trades. And Voyager lets you trade commission-free over 50 plus digital assets. They're a great friend of the show. And what's that code, guys, that they're supposed to use? Is it Rebel25?
Rebel25 is the code. And you get $25 in Bitcoin if you use that promo code when you sign up. Jon, to your point about hodling interest, you don't even have to hodl on Voyager. You're still going to get the interest because it's paid out monthly, and it's great. So
yeah, it is. It's a wonderful thing to see the interest pouring into your account. Something I haven't seen in my bank account for a very long time. When you do, it's like, oh, you made $26.05, and you're like, what? But anyway, guys, have a great weekend. CJ and Monty are in the room throughout the day, 24 hours a day. One of the members of the team is in there, folks. If you're somebody who should be on the team, send us your resume. Send it to Market Rebellion, and those two guys can take a look at it because we are hiring. So marketrebellion.com, just hit the contact us. And if you're somebody who's as passionate about crypto or options as we are, maybe you could be part of the team. So thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend.